Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seen Beyond and Through with Monty. Well, last week I came across this particular video, and at the top you see an actress who is Asharia Ray. And this particular video, as you can read right there, India's most beautiful woman with a brain. Post-pregnancy weight gain. So, this is about Asharia Ray, a Bollywood actress with billions of followers worldwide. And for some reason that we will get into, she is considered by many to be the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, apparently this particular YouTuber, Kareem Olorde, I like her videos, some of them. She has some very good ones. You should check her out. This is not a criticism against her per se. This is more of a criticism on this particular video. This particular video, Asharia Rai, India's most beautiful woman. Now, this particular YouTuber is not the first black woman to call Asharia Ray or consider her to be the world's most beautiful woman. And if you watch that particular video, she alludes to that. Well, not allude to it. She does say it quite often. But she's stating what other people have stated. But apparently she believes that also because she put it, as you've seen, in her title. Now, she's not the first black female to do this, because over a decade ago, Miss Oprah Winfrey herself declared Asharia Ray to be the world's most beautiful woman. And I want you to hear when Asharia and her husband was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. These words are coming out of Oprah's mouth.
Well, what a pleasure. What a pleasure to have you two together. You've never done this before?
No.
Never done this before. Sat down together.
We sit together quite often.
Sat down together for an interview on national television. So tell me, how did you pop the question to the most beautiful woman in the world?
I was filming in New York for a movie, and I used to stand on my balcony of my hotel room and wish that one day, wouldn't it be nice if I was together with her, married? So I took her to the very same balcony and I asked her to marry me.
Oh.
Okay, so you heard Oprah refer to Asharia as the world's most beautiful woman. And her husband was describing when he proposed to her to get married. Now, this was over a decade ago. And we still have black women today who are sharing this sentiment. And this particular sentiment I find to be very troublesome and very problematic. And I'm going to explain to you why. Okay, here's the, Bollywood's golden couple there. And she's considered the world's most beautiful woman. Okay, if you consider her to be good for you, that's your opinion. You're right. But look at her. And you're going to see why I find that to be very problematic. And Oprah Winfrey herself, I read books about her, and she has been accused of colorism herself. That all the men that she have dated have been light-skinned. Now, this is what a book has stated. Because there was a boyfriend before Stedman who was into drugs. He was not dark. So maybe it's not surprising, given those accusations, that Oprah would say that. And Oprah herself back in the day, keep one thing in mind, she wore light-colored contact lenses. Light-colored contact lenses and makeup as light as Casper. So therefore, maybe these accusations of colorism with Oprah are true. Even though she stopped with the light colored contact lenses and the Casper makeup, I think there's still a tinge of that still there. Even though that interview was over a decade ago. But here's the problem with this. Oprah Winfrey or this other YouTuber, have they ever bothered to look into Nollywood? That's Nigeria's version of Bollywood. And Bollywood is India's version of Hollywood. Because in Nollywood, you have beautiful actresses there. I wonder what Oprah considered one of these women who look more like her to be the world's most beautiful woman. These Nigerian actresses are actually stunning. Maybe for some black women, and I hate to say this, maybe this is the aesthetic that too many are trying to get away from. Not all, but too many. But these actresses, look at her, hardly any makeup on, still beautiful. Can Asharia take off all that makeup that she has packed on her face and still look beautiful? I highly doubt it. But look, hardly any makeup on, still beautiful. This is the problem with black people. Many times we give praise to others who wouldn't give it back to us. And many times the praise that we are giving to others is not really appreciated. I would doubt seriously if Asharia Ray would consider any of these Nollywood actresses to be beautiful. I doubt if she would give any props to them in any type of a way. And let me tell you something about the Indian continent and that particular country. They can be very colorist. They can be very anti-black. They can be very anti-African. They can be very racist. That's a fact right there. I want to run to you photos of actresses in Bollywood, and you tell me the common denominator that you see. She's a famous actress in Bollywood. So is she. So is she. She is also. Look at them. Similar, right? What do these actresses have in common? They all look like Indian version of white women. All of them have the pale skin, the light-colored eyes, which many times are contacts. But it just seems like in order to make it in that particular industry in Bollywood, that you must be what they would call, I don't like this term, fair skin, but lighter complexion, with the light-colored eyes. Closer to European aesthetics as you can get. That's the reason why it is extremely problematic when black actresses or black famous people refer to an actress who has very European aesthetics to be the world's most beautiful woman. In a sense, what you're saying is that for you to be the world's most beautiful woman, you have to be white. And we know that many of these actresses right here use bleaching. They bleach their skin out. They wear contact lenses, or either they've gone a step farther of getting the Opti implant lens now. But I want to show you, speaking of eyes, this is Asharia before she became a Bollywood superstar. And there are videos out there that you can type in Asharia Ray's real colored eyes. You can clearly see that her eyes are brown. Beautiful dark brown eyes. Here she is right there, earlier modeling photo. Here she is right there with the light hit her eyes. They're brown. They're nowhere near no blue-green. Here she is when she won the Miss World. She has brown eyes. Clearly she has brown eyes right there. Brown eyes to me are the most beautiful. But you have to believe that. Unfortunately, many people do not believe that. Here she is with her parents. In this particular video, it says the whole family got brown eyes. Candid photo. Her brother has brown eyes. Her mother has brown eyes. Her father has brown eyes. But today, Asharia has blue-green eyes. Here she is with her brother. He has the same color eyes that she had back then. Brown eyes. Now, I want to show you something. Asharia's brown eyes are no different than the vast majority of the people in her country. All these women right here are a greater representation of Indian beauty. And if you look at them, excuse the hell out of me, but I'm looking at women who are even more beautiful than Asharia is. Asharia does not even hold a drop to her. But she's not considered beautiful. They're not considered beautiful because they're darker complexion, because they have darker colored eyes. For Asharia to be considered beautiful, she had to lighten her complexion. She had to put on contact lenses. And let me just tell you one thing too. Has anyone ever heard Asharia speak out against colorism? Yes, she was on the Oprah Winfrey show. Oprah asked her a question about it. But has she ever campaigned on her own to dismantle a system that disenfranchises the vast majority of the Indian population, or disenfranchise women like this from making it in Bollywood? Has she ever spoken out against racism? Has she ever spoken out against, the caste system that persists in India? I'm going to say no. The reason why would she want to take down a system that benefits her? And it's not just Asharia. It's other Bollywood actresses that you've seen too. They're not going to speak on or take down a system that benefits them. But these women right here are much more beautiful than many of those whitewashed Bollywood actresses. And it's really a shame that they are in a system or in a culture that does not appreciate or celebrate their form of beauty. I mean, look at her eyes. Just amazing to me. Skin color. Look at her. Really, I mean, how is this not considered beautiful? I guess it's not if you're brainwashed. If you've been indoctrinated with years and years of a European standard of beauty, you can clearly see how your mind can be twisted. The vast majority of that particular continent of India, 90% of the people do not have that pale colored skin. Over 90% of the people do not have light colored eyes. The vast majority have beautiful brown eyes with brown skin that leads to a darker tone of brown. So Sharia Ray and the Bollywood elite, or these actresses there, have a look that is unlike the vast majority of the Indian population. And what people are doing is that you are promoting colorism when you elevate that type of Bollywood beauty, when you put that on a pedestal. You're keeping alive colorism, a caste system that is disenfranchising billions of people, that is benefiting a small minority who does not even look like that. The only way that many of those people can attain that type of a look is if they are bleaching their skin, if the filters in which they are using is lightening their skin, and they're wearing some type of contact lenses, or they got the implants into their eyes. So black actresses, black people in general, be very careful as to what you're praising and what you're glorifying and what you are uplifting. Because many times there's something deeper and sinister behind that. Colorism is a child of racism. It goes hand in hand. It's a byproduct of being in a very racist society. So when you start to say things like this, her beauty, when you start to say that her beauty like this is not as beautiful, and it's not what actresses or people should attain or look up to, yes, you're buying into a racist myth. You're buying into colorism. You're buying into something very evil and sinister. This is what you're keeping alive. When you're uplifting something like this here, You're perpetrating a myth of European beauty, of European hierarchy. And this type of a look right here, this type of a look that you see right there, this is nothing but the look of a white woman, for the most part. This is what you're upholding as a standard of beauty. This is what you are secretly admiring. So we have to think, we have to research, we have to open our eyes and be aware of the words that come out of our mouths. We have to be very aware of our thoughts and be considerate as to what we are promoting. So someone tell me again, why is Aishwarya Rai, by millions of people worldwide, considered the most beautiful woman in the world? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.